Hi guys, welcome and welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Bola Harrison. Kindly stay, keep watching, enjoy, and please guys, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up by liking this video. So I feel like it's been a minute I said that, and it sounds so weird in my ears, and I'm so happy to be able to say that because for the last 2 weeks I've not been able to talk properly or eat properly, and if you know me, those are two things that I do not joke with. So I'm glad to be able to finally say welcome back to my YouTube channel, and my name is Bola Harrison. Okay guys, so yeah, in today's video I've been having this feeling to share this video, talk about this topic, and today I decided that away from the application, away from reminding you about schools, away from telling you where to go to and how to do it, let's talk about something that I feel will be helpful to you on this journey, on this pathway to study abroad. Now, I'll be sharing 5 laws of thought that has helped me to get to where I am, and that has been useful for me on this study abroad journey for myself, and for people that I have worked with, you know, on this pathway. And the first thing I'm going to say is, I know how challenging it can be, I know how draining it can be, and how frustrating it can be when you make applications to study abroad or send cold mails to professors and you don't get positive feedback, or when you are expecting a school to give you admission and it does not work out. I know how annoying the whole process can be, and I absolutely understand. If you are in that point where you are feeling less motivated, or you're feeling tired, or you're feeling sad about the previous application you have made last year or for the last academic year, this is a new application season, this is a new scholarship funding season, and I want to implore you to buckle up, strap up your shoes again. And this brings me to my first law of thought: believing in yourself. Believing in yourself is I don't know which other principle in life comes ahead of this. It's one of the greatest principle and law of thought that has helped me in my life. Last year I was in a place where I was not sure what was going to happen, but one thing I was sure of was I knew I was capable of getting what I wanted. How it was going to work out, I don't know, but I always tell myself that I deserve this, I am worth this, I will get this. It's me believing in myself, believing in my ability, and believing in my qualification. Because even when I'm working with other people and they are like, oh, I have this qualification, I look at the background of the course or the university, I look at the requirements, I look at what fits, and if my qualification or that qualification I'm giving fits into it, I put in my all. I never think that any scholarship, any funding, any grant is above me, especially when I think I have the qualification for it. I don't put any school above myself. I put myself above the school. I tell myself that this school would be lucky to have me as a student, as an alumni, as an ambassador. This school would be lucky to have me because I have a bright future ahead of me. And if you watch my video when I was going to Padubise, I told you that even when Padubise rejected my application, I told myself it's their loss because I know what I have to offer. So believe in yourself, believe in your application, because when you don't believe in yourself, it affects your application, and before you know it, your SOP begins to fumble, you begin to make mistakes like grammatical errors because you are doubting yourself. And when you send the application, you cannot properly attract the positive side of it, or of the universe, or I don't know how to say that, but when I make a point surrounding that, you understand better. After I find a school and I've seen the qualifications and requirements and I have put in my application, I pray it and I work it. Now this brings me to my next point. Now, perseverance and hard work. Applying is one thing. You also have to be persistent. The fact that you applied for a course last year and was rejected does not mean that you will apply to another school or to that same school and you get rejected. There is no one size fits all to this whole study abroad package. You don't know what the admission committee wants. You are not in their mind. You are not there when they are doing their selection. You don't know what the internal rules about that program is, or what the internal rule for admission is. So you can only hope. So your best bet is to put your best foot forward by doing the hard work. Write your SOP. And if you know you cannot write your statement of purpose yourself, outsource it. I actually believe in doing it myself. So when I give people things to do for me, I always feel like they would not do it up to my taste. So you see me writing my motivation letter myself. If it takes me 3 weeks, I will sit down there and write it. I don't want it to be any error, and if I'm making any error, I know it's an error I made. So when the admission committee would tell me there's an interview or something and they need me to defend whatever I've put there, I know I did it myself, and that's why I always advocate for DIY. So nothing springs up on you by chance. Should in case you cannot do it yourself, it's understandable. I will advise that you give it to a professional to write a motivation letter for you, to write a SOP for you, and package your application, and for them to package your application and send it on your behalf. But make sure you also follow up and you are involved in the process. The third part of this is positivity and faith. And I know you'll be asking, positivity how? Positivity in the sense that for me, I never use the word if. If I'm applying to a school, if I'm applying for a program, or I'm sending an email to a professor, I never say if. I think for like 3-4 years now, I struck the word if out of my vocabulary, and I use the word when. So I'm like, oh, when I get this admission, when I go to this country, when I do this, when I put in this application, I expect feedback by this, and I expect a positive feedback. I never put myself up for rejection. But does that mean I don't get rejected? Oh my God. 2022, I had so much emails that at some point when I see an email, I'm like, unfortunately, I don't even bother to open it, both from applying for jobs or applying for scholarship or applying for admission. Then there are sometimes that you get the admission, you don't get the scholarship, and in a way it's still rejection, because you might not even be able to afford the admission, and that's why you opted for the scholarship. But would I allow that pull me down? No, I never allow that weigh me down. I just give myself maximum 3 days to mourn. I mourn the loss of the scholarship, I mourn the loss of the opportunity, I mourn the loss of that admission, but I move on to the next one. So that's why I always say have a plan B, a plan C, a plan D, and even a plan Z. Like, always have a backup plan and a backup of a backup plan. It helps, trust me. So if you have in mind to study in one country, look for like about 2 to 4 universities in that country and apply. If you don't really have a country of choice yet, which is understandable, find like 3 countries and 2 schools in each of the country, at least 2 to 3 countries, and apply for. All of this takes a whole lot of application fee, and that's where the painful part is, because after applying I don't get it, it can be really disheartening. So you want to be strategic in your application. That's another thing I always do. I strategize. I don't just say because I qualify for this position I will apply for it. I strategize and I look at how that position, how that academic position, or even if it's a job or anything, how it fit into my future goal and my future plan. Is this country my last bus stop? Is this program my last bus stop? Am I going to be able to move from this country to another country where I think I want to stay? And if not, why? And if yes, how? So those are the things you want to consider. Now, the next law of thought, this is where the previous point meets up with this. Acceptability and adaptability. You have to be able to accept when the rejection comes. Some people, you get rejection and you just be like, oh my God, that's it. You don't try. The admission period in some countries open for 3 months. For instance, in Canada, application opens from as early as September up until December or January. Some schools in Europe open from October up till March, April or February. So you have like 4-5 months to try different schools. But some people, when the rejection comes, you just lay back and you get discouraged and you don't want to try again. I understand. But at the same time, you need a strong mind. You need an iron mind to chest when the rejection comes in. That's how I can put it. So the rejection will come in. It's not you apply for 10 programs, might not get 10. And even sometimes you apply for 1 because that's all you can afford to apply at that moment. And once you get rejected, learn how to, yes, you're allowed to cry over it. You're allowed to get sad. You're allowed to mourn it. But at least 3 days max, buckle your shoe, rewrite the SOP and send it somewhere else. It's like when you're writing a publication, you send a paper to this editor, they reject it, you redraft it, you correct it, and you send it to another editor and it gets accepted. That's how this old school thing works. If you have a PhD research proposal and you send to one professor and he says, oh, I can't work in this field, or I can't work with you on this topic or on this research, it's not my field, would you just stop there? No, you have to revamp it to another university specification and requirement and resend it to another professor. But do not send generic SOPs. Like some of you have one SOP, you don't even tailor it to the university's requirements. And that's a discussion for another day, because in another video I'm going to talk about all of the loopholes in application that can cause your application to fail, but it's not in this video. So on this law of thought, what I mean by acceptability is being able to handle rejection and adapting when it comes. So when the rejection comes, learn how to adapt, revamp your work, revamp your application, save up a bit. And this whole travel thing, it will eat deep into your savings, because until you get what you want, your money keeps depleting. And that's why sometimes the pain it's more, because you are digging into your savings with no way to replenish it, with the hope that this one works out, but it doesn't work out. But don't stop there. Rejection is not the end of the road. And like one of my professors always tells me, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And I've told myself, no matter the challenges, no matter the rejections, I am focused on that light, because I want to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Now, the last is attracting support and help. Something I always tell myself, people will help me. People will favor me. Wherever my application gets to, I'll be favored. You might see it as something religious or faith-based, but I always have this belief that aside from religion, there are certain things we speak into the universe, and the universe attracts it to us. If I help someone, I believe they would help me back. But sometimes it's not the case, because you help people and they don't pay you back in the same way you expect them to. Your friends, your acquaintances, people you've rendered help to. But one thing I've always realized is sometimes it is not the people I help that in turn helps me back. In ways that I don't even expect, I find help. In places that I don't even think that I would find help, I find help. If you follow me on Instagram, you see some of my posts where I say, oh my God, this is just more than favor. Because I will ask people for something and they are willing to go extra mile for me. That's because I have gone extra mile for people as well. And I've also told myself that no matter where I am, the land will favor me, the people will favor me. I attract help, I attract favor, I attract positivity. There are lots of challenges with living abroad, but I would not dwell on it. I would only attract the good side of it, so that the universe knows that for Bola, she wants only the positive things. And so I use that same law of attraction to push my application. Rejections will come, but I would get help. How the help will come, I don't know. Where it will come from, I don't know. So all of these laws are laws that I have used to govern my life and get me to this point. You see where I was stuck at Zivitavi. If you see one of my short video, I was stuck at Zivitavi and someone is offering me a bed to sleep. And I'm like, a bed to sleep for the night, and she slept in the cold. Those are the kind of things that it blows my mind, and I know that it might not be that I deserve it, but it's help for me. And the same time, I will send my applications, and sometimes professors will be like, oh, okay, I can't work with you on this project or on this research, but I know someone who can and who will. I will refer you. Just CC the person in the mail, and that's it. Sometimes that's all it takes. So be positive that you would always attract help. You would always attract help. Your document, your file will find favor wherever it goes to. These are the laws that I use to lead my life. Whenever I make an application, this year alone, I know how many applications I made for students and for myself, and I know how many of them that I got. And even the ones I made for myself, I was not surprised at any point, because I told myself that I'm worth it. I deserve it. I worked hard for it, and I was patient with it, and I put in my best foot. And lastly, I prayed. So I don't know if you're an atheist, if you are a theist, if you are a Muslim, a Christian, a Buddhist, it doesn't matter. You also have to put in the place of prayer, because sometimes I pray it, I work it, and I push it forward. And one last thing I always do is tell myself the truth and face reality, because I realize that not every application will be for me. Not every application will work out. Once I get rejected for something once, twice, or 3 times, I genuinely know that this is not for me. So we have to learn how to discern. When you make an application and it does not work out, you need to know if it's your SOP that is the problem, or if it's your grade that is the problem, or if it's generally not just for you. If you apply to a school the first time, second time, and they are not giving you what you want, change the school. If you are willing to work with a professor, you've mailed once, twice, 3 times, the professor is not replying you, then that means that professor is just not for you. So when I get rejected from certain schools or certain programs or certain grants I apply for, I just tell myself that it's just not for me. It might seem like a give up attitude, but it's not. It enables you to be able to move on and to just make up your mind to know that this is not for you, it's not working out. What do you need to do? If not, you'll be stuck on one option for a very long time and you would not be able to move forward. The last message to you is to stay strong, believe in yourself, work hard, stay positive, be persistent, and they did not tie your intestine in the UK, Canada, or US, or Czech Republic. Or if one country is not working out, try another country. There is Estonia, there's Poland, there's Lithuania, there's Hungary, there's Sweden. depending on your financial capability, try to expand your ideas. If you find something on YouTube about a country, do further research. Don't wait for to be spoon-fed everything. This is scholarship and application season, and I hope that these laws of thought help you in your academic and your educational journey and aspiration. I'll see you in my next video. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.